Okay, there's the signal. That's always good to hear. So yeah, I think everyone, please keep yourselves on mute. When you have some questions, please ask them as we go along, put them in chat, and I will help Anna when we pause to go through them and make sure that we cover as many of them as possible. Okay, thank you, Anna. Should we set off?
Yeah, brilliant. Thanks very much, Becky. It's great to have so many of you joining us today, and I'm just going to run through the sort of getting started with chapter 1 and best use of the platform. And I can see from the chat that we've got people here who have been with us for several years volunteering, and we've got newbies, and we've got people that have just done their first sessions today. So I really hope this is going to be helpful. As Becky said, really happy to take questions as we go along. Just please pop them in the chat. So today I am going to run through just a bit of a live demo and obviously answer any questions as we're going along. So some things I'm going to cover are scheduling and changing a session, how to structure a session, understanding and comprehension, using the feedback forms, just letting you know a little bit about the meet and greets that will be coming up and the end of year celebrations, and then the functionality of messaging a teacher and messaging the admin support, and then the really wealth of knowledge that we've got in our knowledge base and where you'll be able to access these videos, the training videos, and then any of the other expert view videos as well. And there's also the FAQs in there. So there's a lot of information all on the platform. So we'll get started on the actual demo. I'm just going to stop this share now and bring up the platform. I'm just going to bring it up exactly as you will see it when you log in. We're just going to check that everyone can see it. Is that all good?
Yes, thanks.
Yeah, thank you. Okay, so this is my login screen. This is my personal login screen, and I use this. I'm reading with my child for this year, and I've already done a couple of sessions. So this is my sort of login here. And as soon as I log into the session, if I've got a session scheduled, which I happen to have one scheduled this afternoon, but unfortunately I've been told that I've got a conflict today, and so the child is absent. So you will get that when you in the morning of your first session, you will get a reminder come through to your email address saying that you've got a chapter 1 message waiting for you, and that will tell you whether your child is present and that you can ring in, or whether your child is absent. So I actually got that message on Monday because my session is normally on a Monday. So I rescheduled it for this afternoon, but obviously the child has been off. So it's fine if you can reschedule your appointment. That's really, really great. And even if I'll try maybe do a makeup session after half term, so he still gets that weekly session back. There's also various alerts that come up on the platform when we log in, obviously letting us know that there's a half-term holiday coming up. So they'll come up sort of the week before to let you know there's holidays happening, and that obviously not to ring in. If you don't receive a reminder in the morning about your session, it may be that the teacher has not been able to do the register. So the teacher will do the register each morning to let you know whether your child is present or not, but maybe the teacher is off, or there could be a supply teacher. So best practice is always to try and ring in if you haven't had the message come through, but it does tend to work really well, and the teachers soon get into the swing of it, of doing the register. So I'm going to start off, I should have said as well, before you even log in, at any point through the session, even at logging in stage, if you have any issues at all, we have our wonderful chat support team. So at any point, if you need support, do reach out on the orange bar, and we've got a wonderful group of technicians that are able to dial into the classroom. They can sort of help you if you need to help with logging in, help with ringing into the classroom. If you've got any technical issues, they can solve most of the problems there and then. So I'd always say to reach out to the chat support, and they will answer as soon as they can as well. And they're very, very quick. So if you haven't had your first session yet, as soon as you get that email assigning you to your child, so I've been assigned to Evan this year, I had a little girl last year, if you can log in to the classroom scheduling, and you can schedule your session. And it's really easy to schedule your session. You can pick up, so if I want to do every Thursday at 10 o'clock, I can put that in, and please put it in to repeat weekly. And then that will be in for each week. And then if you need to move it, you can move it up to the sort of the day before. If you have to move it on the day, do please message the teacher, but the teacher won't be doing that register till the morning. So you can move it up to the day before. I'm going to sort of go through here. I can show you the one that I've got booked in for next week. Is obviously not happening because it's half term. I can just delete that out, but you don't need to do that. But just saying that if you need to delete it at any point and change it, very easy to delete and then to put in another session. So I could put in another session for 10 o'clock, and I could put that one to not repeat if I was going to do an extra one. There's no obligation to do an extra session, but if you are able to, that's absolutely fine. There is, as you can see, lots of slots available on the calendar as well. So all the blank spaces you can fill into. Within here as well, there is the school calendar. So I'm reading, if you want to see the London school calendar, you can bring that up. Has that actually come up? I don't know if I've got the screen shared correctly on that, but you can clock in to see your school, to see.
We can see it, Anna. It's
yeah.
there.
Okay, lovely. You can go in to see the term dates of the school that you're reading with, just to help you plan your sessions. And then we would recommend that although the sessions are within the obviously they're scheduled within the Chapter 1 platform, they don't automatically go into your Outlook. So if you can put your own appointment into your Outlook calendar to remind you, that would be great. And then I'm just coming back to the reading sessions option here. We have got to start your classroom session. If you just click on the purple button, say start classroom session, and that at that point, obviously, if it was 2:30 today and Evan was present, I would be ringing in by pressing that button, and then a number will be generated, and you need to ring that number on your mobile phone or on a landline and ring in to the classroom. The class, it will ring, and there will be a greeter that will come to answer the classroom laptop and say, who is it that you want? You ask for your child, and they come to the session, and then you're ready to press green and start your actual session with the child. Now, just bear in mind, sometimes it can be quite busy in a year 1 and year 2 classroom. So there's lots going on with the children. So sometimes they may not hear it. They might have been caught out with break. So if you don't get a call answer straight away, do wait a couple of minutes and try again. And again, if you aren't getting, if after a couple of tries you aren't getting a call, do reach out on the chat support. So everybody within their platform, exactly like mine, has got access to the practice reading session. So I'm going to use this to simulate a session. And this is exactly the same as what you will do with your child on a weekly basis. First of all, up here next to the child info screen, there is the child screen, which you can see. So you can see exactly what should the child be able to see. So I would always say to my child, can you see the rocket? And then I know that we're good to go. If they can't see the rocket, they're obviously not seeing what we can see. So I would reach out on the chat support. For those of you that are returning volunteers, this screen does look a little bit different, and we've got 2 levels now for our stories and then our activities. So our activities cover the flashcards and the games, and stories obviously relate to the stories. The teacher will set the story level to begin with. I'm going to go to magenta just because that's where my child is at the moment, and actually where my child started last year as well. So and then everybody is set at activity level 2 for the flashcards. So it just gives you that chance to work through the flashcards, and some children will be able to work through them quite quickly, and you are able to move them up the levels, and it's very easy to go in there and move them up the levels as they're making progress. And for some children where they start higher up the story, so the story levels, they go from easy to advanced. Where they start higher up the levels, they'll make quicker progress through the flashcard activities as well. So although the teacher will set that initial story level, after 30 days or so, it may be time for you to move them up a level, or the teacher may move them up as well. You'll be able to gauge it as the children make their progress. So when you start your first session, and yeah, it was really exciting getting a new child this year. I'd read with a little girl last year, and she'd made really good progress, and I think we started at the magenta and we made our way up to green over the course of the year. So we started back at the beginning, obviously trying to find out some things about the little boy, get to know him. So ask him really simple questions at the beginning as to maybe what your favorite color is, what's the name of the teacher, sort of things that they don't need to think about. And I know that's been covered more in Emma's session on how to break the ice. So if you do want to watch that session back, that will be available in the knowledge base. And I know Emma's running another how to break the ice session soon as well. So when I would start a session, I would generally look at breaking it up into sort of spending 5 to 10 minutes on 5 minutes or so on flashcards, then 10 to 15 minutes on stories, and then the rest of the time on games. But every child is different and may respond better to starting with stories, or maybe even starting with a game first. Last year, the little girl and I got into a routine of having to start with a noughts and crosses to begin with, and end with noughts and crosses, and we did the other work in between. But I'm going to start with the flashcards, and I'm on level 2. So I'm going to the flashcards here. And here you can see we've got some different sounds for the children to practice. So it will come up on their screen, and they will use their phonic sounds to sound that out. So k, out, and they'll go through that. And obviously, if you need to help them, you can. Hopefully some of you will have found the little owl, and I know some children love the fact that a little owl would come and deliver them a little message. So you may need them to, I've been using it, for example, if they're getting their D's and B's confused, and I will send that, and it's like, what letter has the little owl got, maybe to break things up as well. So you can spend some time on the flashcards, and then we've got a lovely variety of stickers that you can use to reward them. I found out quite early that the little boy was very into cars, so already liked the cars sticker. So tell them what it is that they're doing well, support them, and again, you don't need to be an expert at phonics. These are sounds that they are practicing and learning at school. But we have done a session, an expert view session on phonics. If you do want to find out a little bit more about phonics, there's something that you can watch back. And we're running more sessions in November and January as well. So then moving on to stories. So there's a lovely selection of stories. There's actually a couple of pages of stories here on this first magenta level. And I would always chat with the children as to the child to see what story do they like the look of. And so the first week with Evan, I said to him, you know, can you see any stories, any of the covers that you'd like to read? And he said that one. So he obviously got there and he was pointing at the screen. So I just had to remind him that, could he describe the front cover to me, or could he tell me the number that it was that he wanted to choose? So I think we chose Tim Hid as the first one, and we've already read this one as well. So I'll just bring up this one, and as you can see, it comes up on the child's screen, so you can see what they're seeing. And then you can highlight the words just by clicking as you go, and that really helps the children. And don't forget, you've got the little owl if you want to pick out certain letters or certain sounds to try and help them. Talk about what they think it's going to be about. It opens a lot of facility for the dialogue, for understanding and their comprehension as they're reading, to be talking to you. So you can ask them as well, after they finish reading, what they're seeing in the pictures, what colour the spades are, have they got a sandpit, how do you think the girl is feeling, have you got a sandpit at school? So get them talking as well. So it should be a two-way thing, and them really starting to enjoy books, because they've been chosen for this programme because they are finding reading difficult. So it's going to be really about encouraging them and getting them to have a love of books. So yeah, as you're going along, you can highlight the words as you're going. And again, you've got a lovely variety of stickers at the end. You can say to them how well they've done with their reading, what they've done well, have they answered questions well, pick out something that they've done well. Last year, I had a lot of unicorn stickers because that was the little girl's favourite one. And then going back to the story list, we actually managed to read 2 books last week. So these books were a little bit shorter, so we got through them really well, actually. And it may be that one book is enough. It may be the fact that you might need to read a page each to start with. It might be the child needs a lot more support. But we actually managed to read 2 books last week. So we chose the second book. And then at the end of choosing the second book, I did say to him to select, can you tell me what book you would like to read next week? So we had another look at the pictures, and I said, would you like to read another book next week? So he was really keen and chose a book as well. So hopefully he'll remember which book it was. So that's always quite a good game we played at the beginning to see if we could remember which book we'd chosen for the following week. And I think he chose this one. So yeah, we'll be reading that. And then just to show you the sort of the different level of books, I think we made our way up to green last year. And I'll just select one of the ones we read towards the end. I think it was this one. So you can see the difference in the level of reading, and you can see how much longer the words are and how many more words there are in a page as well. So your child will make different progress throughout the year. No child is the same. And for some children, their reading might be very good, but they don't actually understand what it is that they're reading. So that's where the comprehension is really important. For some children, it will be about just sitting still and listening and supporting them. The amount of times that we hear from teachers that how much more confident the child is. So for some children, it will be about confidence. Some will make very quick progress through the reading. Some will make slower progress through the reading. But the children can get so much out of these sessions by just spending half an hour dedicated time with an adult who's interested in them, who's interested in listening to them, who's supporting them and encouraging them. So yeah, the children will make all different sorts of progress in different areas. And sometimes they make progress quite quickly and then it flattens off again. So all very different, but lots of support and encouragement. If you are finding that the children are finding things a little bit tricky, you can always take a book from a higher level and you can read to them. Sadly, a lot of children don't get read to at home for various reasons, and you can read to them as well, and they can get a lot from that too. You can ask them questions about the book. You could even pick out just maybe 1 or 2 words for them to read. So there's a lot of flexibility with the programme. So I'm going to just pop back to the story list. There is a note here as well that you can keep session notes as well on here, so you can see you can keep a session note as on there. My session notes are on the other bit of the platform. Shall I just pause for a sec, Becky? I haven't seen the chat, so I don't know if there's any questions at all.
There are lots of questions, Anna, yes. So maybe we should yeah, a pause at this point probably would be good. Some of them are sort of specific practical questions, other more to do with the actual approach to reading. one person was just saying that they'd missed how, on a practical level, how they see the child's view of the
yeah,
screen.
so
So perhaps if we can go over that, that would be useful.
That's just where the next to the child info is. There's a little screen that we can turn on and off there.
Yeah. And then can you then see at the bottom of your screen? Yeah. And then this little box pops up.
Yeah. Oh, that's,
people can see that.
I'm just going to come out of that session.
And another, yeah.
There we go. There's
Yeah.
the screen. Yeah.
It's, yeah, kindly lots of people are answering questions for us as we go along, but
sorry, I should have had the chat open and I've just realised that I didn't. So.
No, that's fine. Yeah, there's some nice questions come through. So how do you send the high fives and the stickers? Just again, show where
here.
those are.
Yeah, so that's come up there. And you've got an array of stickers there on the high fives.
Yeah. And then
through there. So bottom left-hand corner.
And how does the owl deliver its little message? Just the demonstration.
So if I go into the well, I can do it from there actually, but I'll go into the stories. There's the message, the student button there, and I can say hello.
Right, I
think we need to be in the story there.
Yeah, and then there are just sort of more wider questions about how, who sets the story level. So that's explain that that's done by the teacher. Yeah.
The teacher set that.
The teacher sets it, but we do suggest that you move it up and down accordingly. So
and the teacher may move them up as well. I had it where the teacher had moved them up just before Christmas, and then actually as we came back after the Christmas holidays, she obviously hadn't done as much reading, so we went down for a couple of weeks and did some stories just to sort of consolidate, and then we moved it up again, so that's fine.
Okay, and then another probably important question about the slight disconnect between the flashcards, the level of difficulty in the flashcards and the stories. So turquoise level of a story is very difficult, but the flashcards not. So
you just move the activity level up on the flashcards if they're too easy. So change the activity level and move them further up the scale if they're too easy for them. They're up to maybe 4 or 5.
Yeah, no, exactly. So that was the question that, another one asked whether you can push it to the next level or if it's good practice to wait for a few weeks before changing the level. So
yeah,
again,
maybe wait a few weeks and see and get that sort of learning and reading consolidated.
Yeah. Okay, I think those are the main topics for now. So
yeah, and someone has just put there about don't worry about doing the full half hour if the child cannot sit there for the first half if 15-20 minutes is all that they can manage, that's absolutely fine. You can build up to it, and it may take a little bit longer for some children. So I am realised that I have sort of, I was going to try and keep it a bit shorter, and I've been talking about lots of things. So I'll just run through of some of the games. The games are linked to the same activity level as the flashcards. So we've got the word sort, and just to say that in every section of the games or every section of the platform, there is the grey box that's got directions. So the word hike will come up, and then you can let them know, ask the child which box it goes into.
Miss, how you doing?
Not
so bad.
Hello, I think someone's not on mute. Just double check everyone, please. Yeah.
And then we have got the noughts and crosses, which I reckon is probably the favourite across the chapter 1 children, but I may be wrong, but it's the one that I get told a lot by the volunteers that they play, that the children enjoy the most. So I would ask the child if they want to be noughts and crosses, where do you want to go, read out the word and say, I'll be crosses, number 5, lost, and they'll read it out, and then I'll have a go. And then we have a good few games of noughts and crosses, and it's quite easy there to reset the game as well. And then we've got the mystery word game. So there are some suggested words up there that you could use. So you can select 4 letters and maybe choose frog, and they have to try and get the right letters. Or you want to use one of the words that you've had as an extension to your story that you've been talking about. So you could use sand, for example, and as they find the letter, you can type it in. As they don't, if they get a letter wrong, then take a star away. But sometimes children need a little bit of clues and a little bit of help as well. Then we've got Word World, which is another popular game. Spin the wheel, and they have to say the letter and then get the word as well. So yeah, again, sometimes some of them will need a few clues to help them along the way on that one. But again, a really popular one with the children. We've got a whiteboard. So I think I've only managed to play 2 games at the moment. So I'm quite excited to introduce a 3rd game or a different game next week when I do get to see Evan. And then we've got the whiteboard, which you can use for a variety of different activities. So making up a story as an extension. We had some children that were really into animals, so there was like using animal words up there. Or if they're really struggling with their B's and D's, which is a popular one in sort of year 1, you can sort of put together so they can see both of them. So there's quite a few different bits that you can use the whiteboard for and get a little bit more creative with. So hopefully I've covered everything within the platform there for everybody, and I'm just going to end this practice session, and I'm just going to go back to what else is within the platform. So you can keep session notes. As you can see, I've got a few session notes there of what we did and said which flashcards we practiced and which B's and D's were something. So you can keep session notes each week. There is a facility to message the teacher, so you can create a new message and you can send this to the teacher. And we've got here the meetings tab. So just to highlight, we will try where possible to arrange a meet and greet, and that's going to be a Zoom call with your child. So you'll have started reading, but between November and January, we will try to set up a meet and greet session, and that will be with your child, facilitated with a program manager. So sometimes all the chapter 1 children are there, sometimes it might be the whole class, and over Zoom you can get to meet your child, wave to them, sort of help you put a face and the child, so you can both sort of put a face to who you've been talking to, and the program manager will facilitate it, probably share a story at the end. So they're quite short, 20-30 minutes, and where possible and where the school allows us to do that, we will. If you receive an invite, it will come up in your meetings tab. Please do RSVP, and please do try and keep to the RSVP, because it does take quite a lot of effort to set these up, and the children are super excited that they get to meet you as well. So yeah, it's really lovely for them if you can be there. If you need to message the support, so when you're messaging a teacher, just bear in mind that teachers are quite busy. They might not be able to come back to you straight away, but if you're not getting it, maybe it's something urgent or maybe something you want to speak to the teacher about and you're not getting a reply, do reach out to our support team as well. We've got program managers that are linked into the school, and they will be able to sort of speak to the teacher on your behalf or anything. We want to make sure that this is a really good experience for you so that the children have a really good experience as well. So any concerns at all, please do let us know. And on that note, I should have just said, when you finish your session, you do get a feedback form come back and it pops up automatically. It takes 2 seconds to fill in. If you do leave feedback, our team are looking at those forms and we'll come back to you via email if needed, to answer any of your queries. And if you are experiencing issues, it does help us if you report them, because then we can see if there are any patterns. Probably one of the main things is background noise that we do find. We obviously tell teachers to try and schedule these sessions during quieter times of the school day and not during a music lesson or something, but if you let us know if you cannot hear the child, obviously we can look into that further, but sometimes it is a little bit out of the teacher's control. Something can happen in class, so it's very unpredictable environment, I think, in a year 1 and year 2 class with 30 children. but we will try our best. And then just to sort of finish up with, we've got the knowledge base there. These has got your 2 training videos, and these must be watched before you can be assigned to a child. So if you haven't watched your training videos, please go in there until you've got your DBS check cleared and that you've watched the training videos, because they contain an important element of safeguarding. We can't assign you to a child, so you can go in there and watch them if you haven't already done so. And then this is the video library. So if you want to go and just find out about the reading levels, there is a section there. Engaging reluctant readers, I did see about something I did, there's a sort of detail there. I did see something in the chat about that, so there's a bit more information there. There's more information on safeguarding, and then if you want, there's also excuse me, the FAQs, so you can put in what's a decodable story, and that will take you to the right part as well. If you wanted anything on the resources, are all here as well. So, and then here we go, breaking the ice with a pupil and deep dive into phonics. These are those pre-recorded sessions that we've already run. So there's a wealth of information within the knowledge base. So yeah, hopefully I have covered everything, and I think there's been a few more questions coming in, Becky.
Yes.
You've gone on to mute, Rebecca. Can't hear you.
Yes, apologies. Yeah, accident flick of the finger there. The last question from Lynn, which is a sort of practical sort of personal one to her about reading with a child during half term. I think probably we need to take that up separately with our support team, Lynn. So
there is an email coming out beginning of next week to everybody that has been assigned a child to see if they would be interested in supporting chapter 1 at home and a child at home. So it may fall under that, but not all parents will have signed up to that program either. So it may be that you would be matched with a different child, but it probably is best to reach out to our support team. And they are brilliant at any sort of queries. If you've got any queries on the training, if you can't get onto that, if you've got any queries still outstanding with your DBS check or anything like that, please do reach out to the support team, and I've popped that email address in there as well, but you can access it through the dashboard.
Yeah.
And
otherwise,
weekly,
yes, yeah, how often should
weekly reading, and we would love it if you could do at least 25 sessions. So on the platform here, which I should have sort of pointed out at the very beginning, you've got how many sessions you've completed there. So I've already completed 2 sessions. So we would love it if you can try and get to 25 sessions or even more. Obviously, sometimes children have absence from school or extended absence, or there might be an inset day when you ring in or things like that. So we do appreciate that sometimes, reasons outside your control, maybe the headset had been broken or something had happened. But where possible, the more sessions that you can do, the more improvement the child will make in their reading. 12.5 hours over a year, as you can see from the progress my little girl made, it is invaluable and can really set them up in that sort of that journey for them through their sort of schooling life. So yeah, we really appreciate you supporting these children. We're hoping to support 3,000 children this year, and really want to make a difference to each and every one of them. Joanna said, how long is it? We're trying to get 3, well, at the moment, just so that you understand background, that we have to get all the teachers trained and equipment installed and get parental consents for every child. So it does take us a few weeks to get that up and running. And so we've got schools and classes coming online every day. So unfortunately, we can't get everyone launched at the same time. So it's a sort of rolling process, but you will get launched. We have lots of children. You will get assigned a child. We have lots of children waiting for support. So as soon as that school and the children have got parental consent back, we will try to get you matched as soon as possible, but that may be after half term now as well. Thanks, Joanna.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, that's fine. I see lots of you are having to go, so thank you very, very much. I think we'll draw it to a close now, but just a reminder that the session's been recorded. You can find it in the knowledge base, you can find it on the website. Please keep an eye on your emails for news of assignments if you haven't been assigned yet, and of the recordings and future sessions. And just to flag up that the next session is on the 30th of October, the next live session, and that's with our phonics expert Emma Spears for a deeper dive into phonics for those of you that feel that you would like to know more about it. Followed up by a session, the first one that we've done on engaging shy or reluctant readers, and that's on the 6th of November. But again, expect to hear from us with some reminders on all of this. But thank you very much for joining us and giving us some more of your valuable time. And thank you for reading with Chapter 1 children. It's wonderful and incredibly appreciated by all of us. So enjoy the rest of your day, everyone. Thank you.
Thanks
Thank
very
you.
much.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
Bye.
you. Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye. Thanks so much, everyone.